In this video, we are going to address pistol malfunctions. In all of our classes, we prioritize certain things for new shooters. First thing, you have to learn how to shoot, make sure that you're able to shoot what you're aiming at. Second thing is you need to get that gun in the fight. If you're in a deadly conflict, if you know how to shoot but you can't get your gun out, well, you're in a bad situation. The third thing is dealing with pistol malfunctions, because that can happen, does happen. If you've seen a lot of footage, or even among students in classes, you'll see they have problems with their gun running. And we prioritize dealing with malfunctions over reloads, because in civilian altercations, you will hardly see anyone reload, but you will see footage of people having to deal with a down gun. So if you're interested in dealing with pistol malfunctions, make sure to stay tuned. All right, welcome back. I'm Myles at Tactile Hyve, and in this series, we've been covering a lot dealing with the details to how to shoot your pistol accurately and fast. We've talked about how to shoot what you're actually aiming at, and we've talked about how to get your gun in the fight, drawing your pistol from your holster from various positions. Now let's talk about malfunctions. In this video, we are going to address probably the most common malfunction that you are going to encounter. And there's lots of different names for it, but I'm just going to describe it because everyone uses a different term for it. This is when you pull the trigger and you hear a click, but there's no bang, right? And the solution you may have heard is the tap, rack, bang. If not, if you haven't heard about it, this video is for you. And if you have heard about it, I might share some details that you might not have been aware of. So this malfunction is very common. You are going to present your gun and you squeeze the trigger, nothing goes bang, but you do hear a click. There can be various reasons for you squeezing the trigger and hearing a click without the actual gunshot. One might be a faulty primer, so that firing pin hits the primer and for some reason it just doesn't go off, so there's a click. So how do you get your gun back into the fight? This is very important. If you were in an altercation and you're shooting and it doesn't fire when you want it to fire, well, you can be in trouble. So what we're going to do is cover the tap, rack, bang technique. And I'll dive into some details here. It is relatively simple, and it's exactly how it sounds like. So if I am shooting live fire, right now we're doing dry to go over the technique, and I'm using my trusty DryFireMag, so the trigger is automatically going to reset. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to pretend I take one shot and there's no explosion. Obviously, since I'm dry, there won't be an explosion, but so I'm here, I break the shot, there's a click and no bang. What I want to do at this point, okay, so click, no bang, I take my finger off the trigger. Then what I'm going to do is, there's a lot of different techniques here, but the main thing is I want to do the tap part. I'm going to make sure the mag is seated by tapping into the magazine, right, ensuring that it is properly inserted, okay, because this can cause a malfunction feeding around into your gun and lead you to do the tap, rack, bang. So from here, after I ensure the magazine is in, I am going to rack the slide again. Once I rack the slide, there should be another fresh round in the chamber. Then I can turn back to my target and re-engage. And that's the tap, rack, bang. I'm tapping on the mag, I'm racking the slide, and then I'm taking that shot because now my gun is good to go. So it's relatively simple. There are lots of different ways to do this. The main thing though is you need to tap the mag, make sure it's seated, then rack the slide. Some people will keep the gun out here. This is the technique I prefer, where my gun is pointed downrange at a potential threat at all times. I tap the mag, rack the slide, and then break my shot. So you'll see my muzzle is always downrange. Some people prefer this method, and again, nothing's wrong, and it's about efficiency. Some people may want to do this for other reasons, but some people they'll tap the mag, and they might rack it this way, bring it in close, and then come back out. You can use any technique that you want, but the main thing is to execute that tap, rack, bang so that you can get your gun back in the fight. I did want to address something though, because there are some people who say that you do not need to tap this mag, because let's say you've inserted your mag properly, so you're shooting correctly, you're shooting, and it's functioning, the gun is functioning. And then all of a sudden you have a misfire, that click with no bang. Some people will say, you know your mag is inserted, so all you have to do is just rack and then fire, instead of tap, rack, bang. The issue here is that might be the line of thinking in competitive shooting or on the flat range where you're not doing things dynamically. The reason why we do the tap, rack, and bang is primarily for defensive purposes. And we see this happen all the time in our force and force training. And this is one of those very specific reasons why force and force training is so important, because you can see what's real and what's not. And there is that specific reason of seating the mag with the tap, rack, bang technique, because what might happen is, yes, you might be firing correctly and the mag is seated. So if you're on the flat range, you might just rack and then take a shot. But in force and force training, under stress, you might hit the mag release. And this happens a lot to our students. Now the mag is not seated, okay? So what's going to happen is eventually you're gonna be shooting and then you're gonna hear a click and no bang. So now you need to ensure the mag is seated, then execute the rest of the technique. So it's very important to understand the context of this technique, okay? If you guys are shooting in competition, you know your mag is seated, okay, great. But if you're in a situation where you can inadvertently hit that mag release, it's a good idea to just ingrain this movement, the tap, rack, then bang. Okay, so that's why we tap the magazine here. Why do we actually rack the slide? There could be a lot of things going on in the chamber of the gun. There could be a spent casing or, again, an actual bad primer. So we want to make sure we get rid of that problem casing or cartridge. It gets ejected out. Now there's a new round fed from the magazine, and now we have a gun that's ready to fire. Without racking the slide, we may not get rid of that problem piece of brass or whatever that's in there. So make sure to do the tap and the rack. So we're doing everything dry fire. It's very easy to practice this. You can use it with a DryFireMag. You don't need the DryFireMag to even just go through the motions of this tap rack. It's very simple. You would tap, rack, and then break the shot. You can absolutely do that. Or you can use dummy rounds as well and strictly just load a magazine with dummy rounds, okay? And you would physically see the dummy rounds come out here of the actual ejection port, and then you can break a shot. And since you have dummy rounds, you don't have to reset the trigger all the time. You rack it here, okay? So you would tap, rack, dummy round to fly, then you break the shot. You can use the DryFireMag, just keep this inserted, just like that. So I'm breaking shots here, tap, rack, and you can break more shots. Now let's talk about working the tap, rack, bang live fire. What you want to do is you want to get dummy rounds and mix them in with live rounds randomly. You can do a bunch of different mags and just mix them up later on, meaning so you don't know which magazine has dummy rounds and in what order. Or you could have a friend insert the dummy rounds with live rounds in random order. The whole idea here is that when you shoot a live round, obviously the gun is going to go bang and you're going to hit your target. But when you run into a dummy round, you're going to get a click and no bang. So in those instances, that's when you're going to tap, rack the slide, and then take a shot. This also is a great way to see if you have anticipation issues. It's not the topic of this video, but if you shoot a dummy round and you find yourself moving forward, you could have shot anticipation issues that can affect your accuracy downrange. So just an added bonus here of working with dummy rounds. So I'm going to load and make ready. I have a target downrange, and you can use any target because we're really working on the tap, rack, bang, dealing with the malfunction rather than shooting targets right now. So I'm going to continue shooting until I get a click and no bang. So I'm here, I'm just taking shots. Okay, I get a good shot there. Maybe I'm just taking it easy here. So I'm gonna do another shot here, just taking my time. I'd break a shot, hit the steel, so finger off, I'm relaxed. I'm gonna do it again here. And that was a click, no bang. So what I'm gonna do, finger off the trigger, I'm going to tap the mag, I'm going to rack the slide. So I racked that dummy round out, you saw it fly out. That's representative of that bad round, something's going on with that. Now I have a new round in the chamber, and I'm going to break a shot. Finger off the trigger, and I'm back. So this is the entire process. You don't know when the dummy rounds are here, so you are going to react appropriately. So I'm going to continue shooting until I get another dummy round. No dummy round, tap, rack, take another shot. So you notice how I need to tap this mag to ensure it's seated. Of course, we know, if I know I'm not hitting the mag release right now because I'm on flat range doing this slowly, no big deal. But once again, when things are chaotic, you're doing force and force, you're running around, you're stressed, you may hit that mag release and the mag might become unseated a bit. So you're going to tap and then rack. So I'm going to do this again. I'm presenting, I'm breaking my shot, breaking another shot, and I'm already empty. But you guys get the idea here. You are going to randomly load dummy rounds and you're going to have to deal with the problem as it presents itself. So now you know how to deal with your gun if you take a shot and you don't hear that shot go off. You're going to execute the tap, rack, bang. Relatively simple, but you have to practice this a lot so that it becomes second nature. Remember, key point is to make sure you tap that magazine. A lot of people don't think you need to do that, but in chaotic situations, you may inadvertently hit that mag release. As always, if you guys like the video, please give us a thumbs up. Let us know what you think in the comments below. And if you're not yet subscribed, make sure to hit that subscribe button. We release a video every single day, so if you want to be notified about the topics, make sure to hit that bell. See you guys next time.